I'm Rick Lewis with the Non-Hoop Report. On today's segment of Coach's Corner, I have Jeff McInnis of Combine Academy. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, thanks, Coach. Thanks for having me.
Coach, you played for two of the greatest coaches of all time. You played for Coach Steve Smith at Oak Hill and also Dean Smith at UNC. What lessons did you learn from both of them?
First of all, I played for Steve Smith at Oak Hill. I think with Steve Smith, he taught us how to be men, how to live on our own. Because I think when people go to Oak Hill, that's the first time you're away from your family. You're on your own. So I think he gives you that security as a family. Lisa Smith, his wife, she take care of us. They make you feel at home. So I think that's the first thing. He made me feel like I had an extended family at Oak Hill. And then he just taught us how to become better basketball players. Just a lot of skills and drills, old school stuff like that. You get away from the fundamentals. I think, and I think Coach Smith, he really harps on the fundamentals. He honed my game into, I was a little wild, kind of like a street player, but he kind of honed me into like a real basketball player. So I give him credit for that. And then Coach Smith kind of just took it all the way over the top. He taught me accountability, not being late, own up for your mistakes. If you do something, own up to it. It's a consequence that comes with it, but just it's easier to just tell the truth and, own up to your mistakes and just stuff like that. How to be a better basketball player, how to work. Coach Smith taught me how to work. Dean Smith taught me how to work. Like going in the gym shooting 1,000 bad shots is not good. You can go shoot 50 quality shots and it's better than shooting 1,000 bad shots. So he taught me how to work in my game and how to teach the game now, because when I'm coaching, I hear myself saying a lot of stuff that he told me.
Now, Coach, after your junior year, you entered the NBA draft and you were picked numbers 37th by the Denver Nuggets. It's everybody's dream as growing up to be in the NBA. What was it like on NBA draft night to hear your name called out by David Stern?
It was a dream come true. I mean, it was surreal. You work hard for it. I think it's, how many basketball players there is in the world. So it's only 2 rounds of the NBA draft. So anybody who gets their name called is fortunate. So I think then it was like that, but now it's a different time. I think now, sometimes it's better not to get drafted if you're in a certain situation. So I think like it's just a different time of the game. But like then you wanted to, like they drafted on how good you could play right now. I think today they draft on potential sometimes, what the kid could be in 2 or 3 years. We had to be able to play then. So,
right.
I mean, it wasn't no 2 or 3 years when I came out. You had to be able to come and contribute to the team now. They wasn't thinking about 2 or 3 years later. So that's the biggest difference. And I tell kids that, all the time. So we had to be more ready right now than giving us 2 or 3 years to get ready. So, like I said, it was a dream come true. I'm from Charlotte. I grew up on the west side of Charlotte. So we didn't have a lot of NBA players. So for me,
right.
That was like a dream come true. I saw a couple NFL players in my lifetime. Sheldon Boyd is a guy who grew up in my neighborhood. He played for the Giants. So he was like the inspiration of our neighborhood. So we didn't have a lot of NBA guys around where I grew up. So for me, it was very special.
Coach, you spent 11 years in the NBA. So you achieved the highest success at the highest level playing in the NBA. What was the biggest lesson you learned from the 11 years that you played?
Just got to come to work every day. I think like what you just said, I'm grinding. I mean, because that's the only way I know. Like, you got to come to work every day. For those 11 years, you can't really take a day off because you got younger talent coming, guys that just got drafted. The draft is every year. So the draft don't stop because you're in the NBA. So the league is getting younger every year, and you just have to adapt your game and work that much harder in the off season. So, I mean, the biggest thing is fight. And I think the way I coach my teams and the way I do stuff and live my life is all about the way the NBA has molded you. You got to fight every time, unless you're a guy like LeBron James, those guys who make like $60 million a year, then, you could do a little different. But for me, I had to grind and fight. I didn't have a lot of vacation time in the summers because I was in the gym working. So that's the difference.
Now, Coach, after the 11 years in the NBA, you decided to return home to Charlotte, and you formed your own AAU or travel ball organization, Team Charlotte. You took basically the me versus everybody else mentality, and you took a lot of players when you did Team Charlotte that a lot of teams didn't really want. And you, in a short period of time, you took Team Charlotte to be one of the most successful teams under the Under Armour circuit. Talk about what you did coming back to Charlotte and the success you enjoyed with Team Charlotte with your Jeff McInnis program?
Well, I just kind of I wanted to get into it. I was training a couple kids, Austin DeScent, Sheldon Mitchell. I was training those guys a little bit when I first got started. And then they was like, Coach, you should get your own team. And I really wasn't into it at first, but then I was like, well, why not? So we kind of started out. And yeah, I had the kids that everybody was cutting. So I started out like that. So we just grinded. We stayed focused on our goal and what we wanted to do. I knew the big picture. I just said if we kept fighting, and because all the teams that were supposed to be really, really good, they were barely beating us, and we didn't have nothing like at the time. And I just knew we was just playing hard. So once we got a couple kids better with training and got a couple guys in there who could really play, I knew we would be fine. So we just got it out the mud, how they say. We just grinded, and we was the laughing stock of the world at first, and then we beat a couple teams, and then it just turned around for us. But it came through hard work. I think our program is hard. Our coaching staff worked hard. Sims, Keenan, LJ, Chris Henfield. We had a lot of coaches come through here that really worked hard and laid the groundwork for Team Charlotte. So Tyshawn Daddy Eric, he worked with us. Kevin, Austin DeScent's daddy, Kelvin Upshaw. So we had a lot of coaches that's really good coaches that come through here that don't get a lot of credit for being around Team Charlotte. So Kevin Ligon, Terrell Blackman, all of those guys were intricate in our success. So I think I get a lot of credit, but it was those names that I just told you that really built this program.
Now, Coach, when you came to UNC, you came in with a great recruiting class, Rasheed Wallace, Jerry Stackhouse. The thing that I admired the most about watching Jeff McInnis is how hard you played. And, when I see a Jeff McInnis, I go back to how hard you played at Carolina, how hard you played in the NBA. Now, you're a big-time competitor. You do the same thing, whether it's coaching, playing. Talk about Jeff McInnis, the player back then, and now Coach McInnis, the coach.
I think the player, I was always the underdog. Like, I think I always had something to prove. Like, I would never get the credit I was deserved. I always thought that they would always look over me. So I played with a chip on my shoulder. Like, I just wanted to prove to the people that, like I tell my kids now, if they don't rank you where you're supposed to be ranked, don't worry about it. Don't just keep playing and you'll show them different. And that's kind of the mentality I took. I always played with a chip on my shoulder. That was just my mentality. I don't think it was me against you in the ring. And I feel like, growing up on the West Side, that's how it was. Like, I had to fight to get on the court to even compete and play with those guys. So it just followed me. And now as a coach, I think I just want to win. I want to outcoach the other coach. I want to scout them and know what they're doing. I just take it. I take it serious. I take it like I'm playing basketball. Like, I watch tape on the other teams. I kind of get a feel what kind of plays the coach run, what kind of coach he is. So like all that stuff matters, and like winning don't define me. I just come out, I give my best effort, and getting these kids in college will always be the goal for me, as long as I'm in high school and AAU. So like I said, we had a great year last year. We lost to Moravian a couple times, but at the end of the day, they were a better team. But it didn't define our season. They were good, and but that built a fire in me to get better this year and do some things better. And, I changed a lot of stuff up, since Hoop State had all my plays and all my sets and stuff on the thing so much, I had to switch my whole system. So we'll be different this year. We'll be a lot different this year. So a lot of teams knew what we were doing. But I switched my whole system up this year. So it'll be good. I like it like this. It's challenging as a coach when you have to do different things.
Well, Coach, that's the one thing I've always admired about you is how you like to compete. I know you compete to win, but that's who you were as a basketball player back at Oak Hill and also at UNC and also in the NBA. So it all dovetails and all relates to each other. Now, last year you were named the head coach at Combine Academy. You guys enjoyed instant success. For a lot of people, they didn't think you're going to have that type of success early. But the game that sort of defined everything was at the Carmel Tip-Off Classic. You got to play against Oak Hill, your former coach and former school in Oak Hill, and you guys beat them 76-74. That one game basically elevated Combine Academy into a national level program, And it also, to me, cemented the fact that Coach McInnis is one of the elite level coaches out there today. What did that win mean to you personally, and what did it mean to the program?
I think for me personally, it just solidified what I believe in is hard work, and I kind of preached it for the last month before the game leading up, and we could beat them. We could beat them. That's my former school. That's my old coach. I love Coach Smith, like a father figure. But when I'm in the ring, like I told you, I'm in the ring. If I was playing my own son, I'm in the ring. It's a war. It's a fight. So I'm trying to win and come out on top. So it was a great game. I kind of think some of our kids really didn't believe we could beat them. But when we got in the game and we started playing, and some of the same stuff I told them would happen, and we was just there. I think, like I said, a lot of people say it was a lot of questionable calls, but we played them at Oak Hill, and I can say the same thing. So at the end of the day, we won the game. It propelled us to a national level. I think teams started seeing that we were for real. And we had a lot of young guys. So I think for me, that was the biggest thing. Like, people were saying how good we were. And as coaches, I had a headache every day because we were so young. And
Right.
I had to teach so much to that team. But that's the good thing. We had Jalen Shapino. He kind of helped us a lot because he led. He's an older player and a younger body. He led us a lot. So this year, losing him, I think it'll create more opportunity for other guys to show kind of what they do, because we had to rely on him so much handling the ball last year. But I think this year you'll see the improvement of a lot of guys because we've been putting a lot of work in. So I think with him leaving, it'll free a lot of guys up to do more.
Well, Coach, I've said this several times to you, and I really believe this. I think you have developed at Combine in just 1 year, and this will be your second year at Combine. You have developed the Oak Hill of North Carolina. Now, success breeds success, Coach, and you guys had a tremendous season last year. You went 26-7. Now, this year, in some of the preseason publications, Combine is ranked in the top 20. And you have some nice new pieces coming in. You have 7-foot Patrick Wessler. You have Darius Davis, who played at Moravian Prep last year. And you also have an elite defender in Amari and Bodrick. You're gearing this team to be one of the best defensive teams that's come down the pike in some time.
Yeah, I'm glad people see that. So yeah, we trying to build. I tried to build a defensive team this year, but we also added AJ Smith. AJ Smith will be joining us, and Jalen Curry. So we got a couple more pieces to go along with all what we had. So I think this year will be a great year for us. We got, like you said, a defensive team, but we also got some guys that can put it in the basket. Robert Dillingham, he can really score. I think Chris Robinson will be very improved. He's been working hard all summer and getting his quickness together and being faster, just more than a shooter. So I think Amarion Broderick, his offense will be totally different. People really hasn't seen him for a scorer. They just think defense. So Ja'Cory Owens has gotten better. Mekhi Grant will probably be the surprise of the season. He's gotten so much better, which I thought he could. So Kennard Davis still around. So we got a lot of pieces. We got the kid, Antonio Hanlon from Baltimore, who I think you're going to love him. He's a dog. So I think you'll love him when you get your eyes on him. So we got a lot of pieces. So we just got to put them together and become a good team. And I think that's a challenge for me as a coach. We got a lot of new pieces. And like I said, I'm just ready to get started because we do have a good team. And I'm a defensive coach, so I can't wait to see the defense. I can't wait to see the defense.
Coach, you do a magnificent job of putting the pieces together, and you got a lot of moving parts this year. You can go really, really good as far as the defensive end. You have offensive guys, but you got a lot of interchangeable parts. In my opinion, you have a team that can compete for the Geico Nationals. What is your thought process there?
I think that's dinner. We got breakfast, brunch, and lunch and to take care of first. So that's dinner. I just woke up, so I don't really worry about dinner when I first wake up. So I think everything is in layers and steps.
Right.
I know that's the big goal, but we don't talk about it. Like we do what we got to do first. Like I said, handle our business in preseason, being the most in shape team. I want to be the most in shape team in basketball this year. So we have to work a little harder in our preseason this year. So I had a year under my belt to kind of gauge it all. I know where I'm at as a coach. I know what I have to do to get my players there. I thought we did a good job last year. We were still in shape when the season ended. So we're just going to work a little harder and just push our guys for whatever the goal is. If Geico is where the season takes us to, I'm more than welcome to go there and play against the best in the country. So, but if it don't, then we'll just keep grinding until when we can get there, hopefully one day.
Well, Coach, you've always prided yourself on defense, and your teams always play tremendous defense. And with the pieces that you have coming in and the existing pieces that you have, one of my favorite players is Ja'Cory Owens. 6'8". I think he's a great rim protector. The thing that's impressive about him, he is as good as off-the-ball defender as anybody. And I can remember when you guys were playing up at Hargrave in the military challenge, he took 4 charges in one game. The thing that it's impressive about a Combine team, a Coach McInnis team, is the guys understand weak side help, rotation. And, you think you may have your man beat, but sitting there is someone taking a charge.
Yeah, well, I think the guys are so good nowadays. The players are so good and so athletic. Kind of got to tweak some of that in. I mean, if you don't, then people can get to the basket like every time to me. Like, I mean, you just can't stop these guys. They too good dribbling the ball and getting to the basket. So I always thought of some way to try to slow it down. This year we'll have some kinks in there this year. We'll still take some charges. We'll still press. But we're going to do a lot of stuff different because you see a lot of teams trying to do it. I see a lot of teams trying to do it now. I ain't gonna call no names, but I see a lot of teams trying to run my defense. I'll be hearing about people calling me like, I heard this AAU team trying to do it. But like, I'm a firm believer, you can't teach what I do. I don't care how many times you watch it on tape. You're not me, you can't teach it. So I just wanted to say that because I've been hearing a lot of people calling me like, yo, this team trying to run your defense. They trying to do this. So, but it's an honor to me that they even trying. So, but it'll be different this year. Like I said, we're going to do some different stuff this year. I got some different personnel. So we're going to play around with it a little bit.
Well, Coach, you're playing another brutal schedule, and you always want all the smoke when it comes to playing the top teams. When you have your first practice this year, what's your message going to be to the team?
Just the same thing. Let's go. Let's get better every day. I always tell my players to set goals for themselves, and I set goals for myself as a coach. But as a team, we just get better every day. That's our goal every day. Just get better every day. Like I ask them every day, did you feel like you got better today? It was in the weight room, the classroom, on the basketball court. If you got better today, then we in the right stage. It's when kids not getting better every day and they feel like they losing a day. I try to tell my players, let's not lose a day ever. And if you don't lose a day during the whole season, then the kids are getting better. They're progressing. Their grades getting better. They're getting better as people. And we're becoming a better basketball team. So, like Lawrence Frost just called me before this call. That's what took me so long to get on. And just telling me how grateful he was for Combine and just he loved me and all that stuff. And, that's one of my guys. So that's the kind of stuff that that is bigger than basketball. So that's the kind of stuff that I know we helped him a lot. I got on him a lot this year. He was in the doghouse a lot, but at the end of the day, I think he grew as a person and a basketball player. So that's kind of the goals for us. People look at me and think I'm all about winning and losing, but I'm bigger than that. Like, I want these kids to grow as men. You see the world. They need us, guys like us right now, that kind of guide some of the youth to see what's going on. And I keep it all the way real with them. I mean, about all the views we talked. We had a Zoom call with our whole team like 2 weeks ago to talk about the social issues in the world. Just make sure our guys really, really know what's going on. So I think we stay on top of it. It's bigger than basketball for us here, bigger than wins and losses. So we just kind of do it the way we do it.
Coach, one of the toughest things about coaching, especially youth basketball in high school, is managing the egos and the playing time. And you have a roster filled with unbelievable talent. How do you get all the guys to buy in so well?
Because I'm fair. I try to be fair, and I try to be just straight up. Like, if it's my best player, I treat him the same. I just try to be fair. Like, a lot of people, like my uncle always joked me like, man, I couldn't play for you, man. You make a mistake, you take me out of the game. My uncle always say that to me. So I'll just be like, well, you don't be in practice. And this kid, if you just make this, like we give you so much leeway in practice and we give you so much. So I just think it's competition. I want to win. So I think it's on the kids to compete and play. Like, you're going to see this for the rest of your life. You're going to see it in college. You're going to see it if you ever go overseas or the NBA. You're never going to be the best player again on your team. So why not build that now in high school to get kids ready to learn how to play against other good players? So I just think that's the way I want to build my environment. Some teams like to have two good players and the rest of the guys just there. But I want you to see somebody like you every day, and that builds a better team, I think.
Well, Coach, you've done an amazing job at Combine in just one short year. And I'll be honest with you, it didn't surprise me because I know who you are, Jeff McInnis, the person, and Coach McInnis, the player at UNC at the NBA, and also Jeff McInnis, the coach. I've watched you. I've been a fan for a long time. I'm simply amazed. But you become the crowd favorite, not because you played at UNC. Now, even like at the John Wall Invitational last year, your team became the favorite. And I think the reason why that people sort of gravitated to Combine and Jeff McInnis, you coach with a tremendous amount of passion. You have more passion than any coach I've ever seen. You have a special gift. You get your players to buy in, and they play to win. They play all out. And I think that's the thing that I take away when I watch you coach. You have tough love on those kids. I mean, they're going to get a little earful every now and then. The one thing about it, Coach, is those kids on your team will run through a brick wall for you.
Because I do it for them. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, the love is both ways. Like, people see that, like, yeah, me going off and saying something to them, but they don't see the stuff that goes on behind closed doors. Like, after practice when Makai give me a bag of clothes and say, Coach, can you take these home and wash them for me? Like, stuff like that, I do that for them. Like, I do a lot of stuff. They can come to my house, get in the pool, eat pizza, go in the refrigerator like they live here. That's the love we have for each other. But people just see the part on the court. They don't really see the inside of the love that we have for each other, because those kids know I run through a wall for them. So that's why they'll do it for me. But it goes both ways. And I don't throw them under the bus. Every time we've lost a game this year, I took the blame. And I know sometimes the kids might have missed free throws. They might have turned the ball over, but I take the blame for every loss. 7 losses, I stood in front of the media or whoever and said it was my fault. I didn't have the guys prepared. And even one reporter said, no, that's not true. Y'all missed this many free throws. But I still take the blame for losses because I'm the coach. So when kids see you do that, then they kind of tend to like you a little bit differently when they know in their heart that you could have said, well, Rick Lewis missed the free throws with a 1-on-1 left, and, it could have gave us a chance to win, but I would never do that because I never wanted the coach to do it to me. And that's the perks of playing and not playing. So I understand how important it is for my kids to like me and love me as a coach. They're going to hate me as a coach, but the bigger picture, they're going to love me. They like Coach Sim and they like Keenan. I was an assistant before. I know they always loved me as an assistant, but as soon as I switch chairs, you know how it is. But the ultimate big goal is they love you. So for me, I just think the way we teach it, the way we are with our kids, we tough on them, but we also cool with them. We do a lot of stuff that people don't see.
Well, the other thing too, Coach, is they know you believe in them. Number two, the thing about playing for a Jeff McInnis team, college coaches know this simple fact. If they play for you, they know they're going to play hard, number one. Number two, they're going to know how to play defense. And number three, they're going to know how to play as a team. And that's the most important takeaway, because, if I'm a college coach and I'm watching Combine play and seeing how hard you guys play, and you know what? It's all about team when you're coaching. You're coaching a team of players. You're not coaching just one individual. And it doesn't matter whether that one individual is the very best player on the team. You're going to get onto him as hard as the guy who just gets the least amount of playing time. And that's the thing that I think everybody has that respect factor for Jeff McInnis is you are fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way to coach it. I mean, everybody know who the best players are. Yeah, the best player might get more shots than you. I mean, he might get more minutes than you. He might get a little more time than you. So all that's just basketball. That in the NBA, some players get more perks than you do. I mean, I had to deal with that my whole career, but that don't define you as a player. You just have to learn how to get yours in the middle. But in saying that, yes, I do. I don't believe in just catering to one player and just feel like you let him do everything and don't say nothing to him or say something to the other players, because I don't think I would have had this much success coaching if I was like that. I think that's why Devon Dotson respects me. I think that's why Tyshawn Alexander, Rajon Tucker, all those guys respect me, because they know I was real with them. I didn't let them get over. So I held them accountable, and that's why Rajon Tucker's playing for the Jazz. That's why Devon Dotson is in a situation to get drafted. He's a great player, but they just followed the script, and they kind of like listened to me. And like when they wasn't getting ranked high and early on, I'd say you got to trust the process. Like they'll see it at the right time. You know, like it's hard to be the #1 player in the country in 9th grade and carry it to the 12th grade. And I told my guys that let's just hunt. Let's not be the hunted. Let's just go hunt. So our names were low, and we just could hunt. I felt like that at Combine. Let's go hunting this year. So that's just my mentality. I'm always gonna hunt and just try to be better. Like you say, I want to smoke. What do you get out of being scared to play somebody? Like
Right.
I'm here to play. Like I don't want to play a game where I'm gonna win by 30. I want to play teams that's good, and we can get better from it. It's only gonna help us and help me. So I want to play the best teams, and that's how I've always been since I was sorry in AAU, and I'm gonna continue to be that way.
Well, Coach, I want to say thank you for coming on Coach's Corner today. I think you've done a tremendous job at Combine. You built a great program at Team Charlotte, and to me, it's more than just a passionate coach on the sidelines. The one thing that I really want to say to a lot of people out there, you're one of the most underrated coaches anywhere, because you know how to coach X's and O's, and you don't get enough credit for that. Because when I watch your team play, I'm not just watching the guys play. I'm watching the sets you run, your out of bounds, your side outs, how you mix up the defenses, how you mix up the plays on the offensive end to utilize a mismatch on the interior, on the exterior. You have the X's and O's, and you're just, to me, you have the complete package, the passion. You know, we talk about a basketball player being a well-rounded basketball player. You're a well-rounded coach. You have the passion, the enthusiasm, and also the skill as far as X's and O's. So I just want to say thank you, Coach, and appreciate all you've done to support Phenom Hoops over the years.
I appreciate you too, Rick, and I thank you for giving these kids the platform you do, man. And you don't get enough credit, but man, you give these kids a great platform, and you've been all about the kids since day one, since I know you, man. Just keep doing good stuff, man. Appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.